Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where we currently are in a little bit of a power deficit. We're of course discharging from our emergency battery station here, and that's going to be empty in 6 hours and 34 minutes. Now, by the time that happens, our solar power plant should be fully online, so that'll be absolutely great. In theory, we could add in something like the advanced tracking system here. That's quite expensive compared to how much money we have available right now, and we're negative at this moment, so we probably shouldn't do that just yet. We do have a fair amount of demand for low-density residential, as usual, and we're going to hop in over here and just zone up this entire area over here. So something, I want this to actually be snapped to this grid, so something along the lines, oh, that's awful. Okay, let's try this in a different direction. Let's try it right up over here. Yeah, that'll do. So bringing this on over to about here, I think that some of this maybe didn't get zoned. Okay, cool. And then we'll just zone everything over here up to Park Street. So we'll just use the bucket tool and get this all zoned up. We're not going to zone on the shoreline, but everything else over here, that'll be fine. So we'll let them start working away at low-density residential. We absolutely could use more people. There's no doubt about that. And as we expand up over this way, we're finding that we're running out of residential space over on this side of the river, right? And this expansion area was intended to take the load off of this area, but to be honest, we've kind of filled this up even more. So we may need to start expanding down this direction, and that's probably not a bad idea. We can certainly get a couple of meta blocks here and here very, very easily, and that's probably something that we should do. For now, though, I don't want to undertake any large construction projects until such a time as we know that we're going to be okay on the power front, which that's still working its way up. And, oh, that's now going to be empty in 1 hour? Okay. So maybe I'm reading this wrong, or maybe we're having more power flow here. Noted. Of course, we're not producing all that much garbage here right now, so we don't get all that much electricity production out of our incineration plant. Currently, we're being primarily powered by our hydroelectric plant. Can we upgrade that at all? I don't think so. No, there aren't any upgrades that we can do for that. Okay. So what we really need, of course, is a solar power plant to really start coming online. That's going to be a while. We can see how long the shadows are here. So if we're going to run out of power very, very soon in this emergency battery station, we're at minus 27.91 megawatts right now. That's definitely painful. And the question is, do we have enough battery capacity? Once this is fully recharged, do we have enough battery capacity to fully recharge this and make it through the night? I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. That's something that we'll definitely need to feel out. For now, of course, we're just letting our population tick on up. We're seeing a lot of construction out over here. And there's a little bit of demand for commercial as well creeping up. We may want to consider getting some commercial out over this direction-ish. So where would we end up putting that? Where indeed? We do have access to high-density business. So we may want to start considering rezoning some of this commercial over here as high-density commercial and seeing what happens there. That may not be a bad idea at this point. They're not broken out into separate commercial demands, right? So we'll see what ends up happening with that one. People are getting sick. Yeah, that's pretty normal. There's also been a traffic accident out over here. Okay, fair enough. We'll get it taken care of. That's reasonably fine for right now. So we're currently seeing our residential demand holding steady. I'm wondering when we're going to run out of power, though. And the answer to that is we are going to run out of power in under an hour. Now, it's currently 12 o'clock. I'm not sure when sunup and sundown is in this game, though. 1 month is equal to 24 hours, right? So the question is, when are we going to be at peak sunlight? Currently, we're producing 7 megawatts here. Now, what is the overall production of this? Up to 200 megawatts. Okay. So that's definitely noted. That's not exactly great. And this is currently dropping at this moment. So one thing to question is, how are we actually doing on this sunlight right now? And where is the sun? The sun is here. Which way is it going? Is it going up or going down right now? If it's going down, we've got a problem. And I think it is going down. Okay. So we've got a problem. What is our electricity deficit? Our electricity deficit is currently about 20. Can we make up for that with wind turbines? In theory, yes. Wind speed is too low out over here. This would be 5 megawatt production. So we could build a wind farm up over here in theory. Yeah, this is not a bad spot. We could build like 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and about a 5th one here. Now they're going to need to be linked into the power network. That gives overlapping items. Do we just need to bring it up close, or how do we link these in? Probably with regular electric cables. Yeah, that's how it is. Okay, so these only produce low voltage. Gotcha. So these high voltage lines are not going to be useful here. That's fine. So we're going to put in some low voltage lines connecting all of these together. So this is going to need to come out over here, or I guess it needs to go in like that. Yeah, it has to go from in, or from out to in. So it would go in something like that, and then something like that. Cool. And then we can link all of these together into one point, and that would be like something like this over here. Now, this is probably going to need to be changed eventually in terms of these lines, but that would do for now. And then how would we connect that in over here? That's definitely an interesting question. We just bring it down to like this street and connect it in over here? Yes. That is indeed how that works. So we just connect it to the street like that. So now we've got our windmills going, and now we're charging. Cool. So that'll help. That will, of course, not be producing significant pollution out over there. This is, of course, going to eventually be a bit of a problem for us in terms of our grid, but we'll solve that later. That's definitely a later sort of problem. We're pretty negative financially at this moment, but I'm not sure we actually are, to be honest. So I do want to start getting to work on this area down here. Now, can we just slam a roundabout right in here? No, that gives invalid shape. I'm not shocked about that one. So we would need to bring these guys out and then put this guy in right here like that. Then we would need to have these be 2-lane one-way highways with one of them linking up over here. Or really, we'd want to merge these together, right, into a 4-lane two-way highway. And we would want that to come down about like that, in theory. And then we would merge these in out over here. So we would bring these together and have this be a 2-lane one-way highway that comes out over here like this. And then this would come in over here about like that. It's definitely imperfect, but that gets us a start out over here, and we can certainly then build out our highway over this direction. I would want this to remain at a relatively high elevation, and we would just bring this out to be somewhere around over here. And we would need to bring this guy down to be somewhere around here. There we go. That looks correct. And then this would just extend out over here a bit to approximately here or so. That'll do for now. And then we'll bring this guy straight on down to the city limits. Perfect. Slap a roundabout right on in there and call that good. Okay, so that gets us started out over here, right? That gives us a couple of meta blocks to work with. We certainly need more low-density residential. There's no doubt about that. And to that end, we're going to need to build a 2-lane, 2-way road down this direction to at least like here. And then this would need to get built out to be, let's see, 112 meters from about right here, right? So it would need to be about there, and then would connect in here. And then this guy would connect in approximately here, but that gives us overlapping items. Probably due to a pillar here. Yep, that is exactly what it is. So we're going to take that right on out of there. We'll build this road over. Right like so. Phenomenal. And then we'll get this highway put in. So that needs to go right about... I don't like that grade.
Second Moon Radio.
That's interesting. This is actually like at 2 height. And that is because this is falling away. Okay, so we should actually take this out of here. And let's build in these crossroads first. So I want to get the elevation here correct. What elevation are we at? I guess here?
You can now shop for designer
Sure.
shoes
It's
while
just kind of
sipping a
floating
fancy
awkwardly.
local
But that's
Chardonnay
okay.
mate.
No problem here.
Or
We'll just
so
bring
my
this
wife
on in.
tells me.
There we
That's
go.
good
We've
for
got our 4
business
roads.
and good for the
Perfect.
community.
Now we can get our highway through here. So that will, of course, be right about here. A 6% grade. This will be a 7.6% grade. This will be a 4.3% grade. And then it'll just connect in right over here. Technically, that is definitely not straight. Okay. We need to get that out of there and try that again. I did not nail that for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's probably snapping to geometry, though. So, existing geometry snaps? Quite possibly. So let's put that in there. Actually, we may want to go from this point out over here. Yeah, I can definitely see that we're a little off here. We want to go in right like that, right? So bringing this in like so, and then that's overlapping items. Why doesn't this want to join into the roundabout? Hello, roundabout. Are you okay? The roundabout may or may not be okay. So we do need to snap to existing geometry here. That's what the problem is. Okay, there we go. That'll do, and then we just connect this up over here in theory, but we can see they're slightly off from each other, right? So I'm going to take all of that out of there, and we're just going to build it from here, and we're going to build it straight over like so. That is at a slight angle, but that is okay at this point. Okay, so we'll call that good. It's not perfect, but it will do the trick for now. Then I'm going to extend out our highway over this way. We'll just bring that out to the city limits, about like that. Perfect. And we'll bring this guy right on down. There we go. Okay. So that's looking good. We're going to need to bring this road over, and it should really go out over here. That might create some issues here. We'll see. This road needs to come down. I hope that park doesn't need to be moved. Nope, we placed it correctly, so that's good. So that's going to be brought down to be, that's showing at not exactly straight, but it'll have to do. Okay, we're going to bring this down. I'm thinking that we've got a pillar issue here. That does appear to be the case. We really probably should build these streets first then, in that case. So that would probably be the smart way to do things, but that's not the way we've done them. So, yep, once again, we have a pillar right where we want this road to go. So I'm just going to remove these highways for right now. We're going to get our underlying roads built first, and then we're going to build our overlying roads. That'll be the idea here. So we want this to be approximately right here. Yes, that is reasonably straight. And that is not reasonably straight. I wasn't sure what lane we were snapping to there. That's straight. I like it. So that's fine. This will, of course, come out over here and be aligned with this road. Right there looks perfect. There we go. And the next one will be aligned with this road. That goes down to right there. Perfect. That'll do. And then we bring this guy out over this way, right? So this is 120 meters, and so we really need this to go a little further than that. We could just align it to this road, though, and not have to worry about it. So that's indeed exactly what we're going to do. Cool. And we've got a pillar. Of course we do. Okay, so we're going to take these out of here for now, just so that we don't have to worry about them, and we'll get all of this roadage built. Okay, so in theory, this will be significantly easy to build the roads now. Emphasis on in theory. So we take this road out and directly connect it in here. That did not go because of overlapping items. Yeah, so we can only do so much of this at a time, but that's okay. So then we would bring this road in over here, again with the overlapping items. It'll go here, and then it'll go here. And then this road probably is also going to have an overlapping items issue. That would just come in right up about here. That looks perfect. Absolutely perfect there. Okay, so this meta block is basically good to go. We then need to bring this road down, and that would come in right here, in theory. Then we've got this one. Yep, right there. Perfect. And then we've got this one. That'll do. Okay, so that gets all of that good to go. Now we can build our highways in. So we would have that be from right here. It would go 90 degrees out and would be right there. Cool. And we'll just put a pillar in at like the far side of each of these. Mildly awkward here. Okay. For now, I think we should probably bring this up over to right there. And then connect this in. It really wants to move our positioning. Okay, let's bring this guy out. And then do that. Okay, perfect. That'll work. So now we probably have a pillar issue here, but here it actually shouldn't matter, in theory. Unless we want to put something under that particular location. It shouldn't be a big deal. So then we would just bring this on in to be... That's a very slight bend there. Okay. Let's see about bringing that back a bit. If we connect this in like that, that is technically showing up as 180. Okay. Stop snapping to existing geometry right now, and let's just bring this out. Technically, this really should be in line here, right? So what I want to do is I want to drop this right here. And then right here. And then right here. And then this, if this has to go up a bit, that's okay. So it can have a very, very slight bend. I really don't love that positioning, though. We may want to just actually fully remove this section and rebuild it. That's probably not the worst idea. So we can then bring this out to go right here. And then it'll just extend out to the city limit, about like that. Then this guy can be brought back southward. We would drop it here for a pillar. We would drop a pillar here, a pillar here, and then connect it in like so. And then drop a pillar here. Then we put our roundabout back in, and this should be better lined up, in theory. We'll see if it is. Actually, we probably won't see because it's good enough for now. I'm just going to try not to look at it. Perfect. And this will almost do. Once again, we're slightly off here. And I'm going to take this section out and this section out. And we're going to bring... This doesn't look like it should be off, though. So as a hypothetical... Yeah, that doesn't look like it should be off. So we would just bring that in to be right about here. That is a little off, though. There. Right about there. Then we would bring it in here and snap to existing geometry. It's a very, very, very slight bend there. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. That's going to be the goal. Okay, cool. So now we've got these two meta blocks that are reasonably good to go, but what we do need, of course, is on-off ramps for them. So we're going to definitely do that, and we're going to hop down over here. And these should go relatively simply. I don't think there's any huge amounts of slope issues over here. So in theory, it should just be something like that, and then something in an off-ramp capacity over here. Cool. A little bit skewed here. Bring it in more like this. Slightly better. It's still a little skewed, but it'll do. Okay, so next up we're going to need to do the same over here. Cool. So we'll get an on-ramp over this way. Slope too steep, but we can go there, just extending out the ramp a little bit. This is overlapping items due to the pillars here. So mildly awkward here, but we could bring it out over here, I suppose. I really don't like that. So no, I'm not going to do that. We're going to have this be more like up here. This is actually not giving us an overlapping items, so that's significantly better. It's not great, but it's, you know, better. Well, it is. It's not perfect. I'm not going to say it's not great. It's not perfect. Okay, we'll bring this in and bring this in up over here. Cool. Something like that. Again, with not perfect, but it'll do. Now we just need to do this section of highway over here, and that is indeed exactly what we're going to do. On-ramp over here, and off-ramp over here. Cool. And the same thing over here, off-ramp over here, and on-ramp over here. That'll do. So that's this meta block, good to go. Next up, of course, is this one. So that's not going to take too long in theory. We can do an on-ramp over here and an off-ramp over here. There we go. And an off-ramp on this side. And an on-ramp. That's giving slope too steep unless we come back over here. Okay, I'm going to redo this one then. That'll be fine. So we can just have that split off over here instead. That's one too high. Something along the lines of that'll do. Cool. And now all we need to do is this highway. Phenomenal. So with us in position here, I want to pan down a little bit. There we go. And we're just going to bring this on in. Cool. That'll do. And up over here, we can bring off-ramp through and then on-ramp through. Cool. I don't know why that made this house abandoned, but it did. Maybe like the grading there is a problem. Sure. But there's the on-off ramps for those two meta blocks, and now I'm just going to go through and we are going to use low-density housing using marquee select, and I'm just going to make all of this be low-density housing, whether it is or not. So this up here is not low-density housing, so we could definitely make this be medium density here. And that is indeed what I'm going to do. So we're going to make all of that be medium density. Some of this is going to be abandoned. That's understood. So that's reasonably fine for right now. We knew that there were going to be a few issues with this. But we can get rid of that for the time being, and that'll be absolutely okay. Fantastic. So that gives us a lot more residential zoning. No doubt about that. And hopefully that'll be enough to deal with this. The power keeps going out. Okay, is that actually an issue at this moment?
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area.
Production is currently 68 megawatts. Consumption is 60 megawatts. We are currently storing in our battery station. That said, the power plant is going to be going negative fairly soon. We may require another windmill. We'll see.
Before we dive into our next selection,
It's interesting that the wind is always blowing at the current wind speed up here, but it does fluctuate according to the current wind speed. So,
First,
yeah,
we
that may
will
drop
dance
off. We'll
around
see.
Through the al dente section.
For
before
now,
entering
we're
the
adding in
slower
about
larva
5
movement
megawatts, so
cycle
that
and
means that
savoring
as
the
it currently
vivacious
stands, if our solar power
antivascular
plant
movement.
stops producing,
So, without
which it will
further
soon,
ado, let's
then we are
raise the curtain
going to still be positive on our emergency
This
battery
just in
station,
from
and that is
traffic.
very,
If
very
you're
good.
thinking
So that
about
is
hitting the
phenomenal.
streets,
What do
you
we have
can
going on
expect
here for
delays
zoning?
on the major roads, especially during
This is
rush
just
hour.
unzoned.
To know, Jim. Seems
This
like
really
everyone's
probably
in a hurry
should
to get
be
somewhere
commercial here.
fast. It's
So I'm going to
worth
zone all
slowing
of that
down.
commercial. In
And
fact,
if
we should
you
probably
can,
zone it
plan
high
your
density
trip
commercial.
outside the road.
Now that I think about it.
Oh, I don't know. I'd rather wait
There we
an
go.
hour in traffic
High
than
density
start
commercial,
thinking
right
about
on
it
in there.
all the time.
Phenomenal.
Besides, if
And
I
with
did
that, what
I'd
do we have
never get
going on
anywhere.
down here?
We're
Weather
live,
damage.
and
Bad
we've got
weather.
Reports about a traffic accident somewhere.
What
in the
bad
city.
weather?
Road maintenance services have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return
Okay,
to normal.
it goes
But
away.
if you're
I don't know
planning a
what the
quick
bad
trip
weather
out,
there was.
you
I
might
also
want
don't
to
know
wait
what
a
this
little
guy
while
is.
until everything
That
clears up.
is
If you're
a
on it,
Stratford.
You already know about it. No
An
need to
outside
remind
connection
you.
point for creating
Meanwhile,
passenger
expect
airplane
delays
lines. Okay, that makes
drive
sense.
safe.
So there's a connection point up there. Sounds good. Well, it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see if this finally deals with the insatiable demand for low-density residential. We'll see. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.